For those that don't know, Israel's entered another lockdown and it's driving absolutely everyone insane. But there's something interesting going on is that there's kind of this fight a little bit between like religious and secular kind of. Let me explain what's going on. Since basically everyone's been out of work, there have been a lot of people, mostly just the left, just protesting Netanyahu for no reason at all. And no one's working, so a lot of people are attending. Now, what's interesting is the ban, there are some exclusions on the lockdown. And one of them is protesters. You can travel as far as you want to go protest the prime minister or the business. So someone like me who doesn't really care to protest one way or another, rather work, by the itch to get out, I can just say I'm going to a protest. And then suddenly all of the rules and the laws of a lockdown, not allowed to leave my town or 500 meters or 1,000 meters from my house, all that's torn up. So Deri, Aryeh Deri, he's a minister and he's from a ultra-orthodox party. Said he's even willing to close down synagogues, but he doesn't want the double standard. This is what he says. It's actually really interesting. He says that if we can close the protesters, then we'll close the synagogues. It's not fair that you're asking on the high holidays on Yom Kippur or Shoshana Sukkot, you're talking about closing synagogues. It's insane. People aren't going to keep to this. But he's saying there's been a double standard for the religious versus the protesters. Um, Bibi Netanyahu actually said something. He said, "For a long time, I've refrained from commenting on the matter, but after hearing experts claim that gatherings are a huge danger to public health, it's my duty to address it." Look, it's true. I mean, there needs to be consistency, right? Look here, the entire public is required to comply with restrictions. Only a group of protesters are excluded from the rule. You're allowed to go to the Western Wall only if you live within a kilometer, right? But Balfour Street, that's where a lot of the protests are being held in Tel Aviv, can be reached from all over the country, right? And at the Western Wall, you can only have 20 capsules of 20 people praying together, and that's outdoors, right? But in demonstration, anything goes. And everyone knows this is true. Everyone talks about this. I speak to many people every day, and there's absolute hypocrisy and double standard here. People don't want to limit protests. I don't want to limit protests. But there is a double standard where you can say you can't congregate to pray on the most important day of the year, literally Yom Kippur, next Sunday night to Monday night. Um, but you can protest, you know what I mean, love in the streets and all that, people on top of each other. So there does need to be some consistency. I do agree with it. I mean, my personal opinion is I think people should be allowed to protest, people should be allowed to pray, you should be able to do whatever you want, be responsible, and people should take that in mind and be responsible for their own health. I do understand there are other things involved, you know, other forced lockdowns, you know, the so-called flattening the curve if the health industry gets overwhelmed. But outside of that, I think people have enough information about the virus to go ahead and make their own decisions. Anyway, will the farce stop? I don't know, but it does need to be stated that there is a double standard here, and whatever it is, hopefully there will be consistency. There will be consistent. There won't be inconsistencies from both sides.